Um, Other than that, I mean, that just brings me back to, well, no, first actually, before I get too ahead of myself, there was the resignation of AJ, which, you had to see this coming eventually, one way or another, and, something where AJ was going to not have her job as general manager anymore, and, I'm glad. It's time, I think it's time for a different general manager. Paul Heyman would be great, but we'll have to wait and see. Definitely not Vicky Guerrero. I think temporarily, maybe next week, or in the next couple weeks, Vicky Guerrero will fill in, but I think they're doing that, having Vicky Guerrero be this supervisor, managing supervisor, whatever, just until they have, a good idea of who they really want in there, because it just wasn't working for AJ. I noticed this. I felt that, like the first week after she, was general manager, I was thinking that. And since then, it continued. It didn't seem to get any better to me. If anything, it just got a little worse with her as general manager. So I'm really not disappointed to, it's worth a shot. And at the time, I thought, yeah, this seems like a good idea, and I think a lot of people did, but it just didn't work out. And I'm glad WWE kind of, changed it instead of letting it drag out, her role as general manager drag out far too long. So, again, we will wait and see who they have. Paul Heyman would definitely be interesting. I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to have it make sense, have it fit entirely. I don't know how to explain that, but I just don't know if that's what they have in mind. So, maybe they'll have a new gentleman, a new guy step in. Maybe they're going to give John Laurinaitis a call back up. I don't know. But there's different things, different ideas that they probably are working with, and are probably thinking about what course of action they're going to take there before they, give a new permanent general manager to Raw. So we'll wait and see on that. Of course, now we have this whole thing tying it, this AJ thing now kind of wrapping around John Cena. I guess a way of having John Cena on camera, I guess through Hell in a Cell, without having him, compete. I guess given the situation he's on, they have this fraternizing, as they called it, conspiracy theory against John Cena, with apparently having an affair with AJ, according to Vicky Guerrero. So we have that whole thing going on. I feel like, I'm not sure exactly what but I just feel like they did something like this with John Cena already. I don't know. It's feeling like a sense of been there, done that with it, but I guess we'll see how it goes. But I'm not too sure this is going to be very good. They had Cena backstage with AJ, saying how, talking about how they just had a business dinner together, and how, this whole thing was like a conspiracy theory against John Cena, but, and AJ was upset, but, being the Boy Scout that he is, tends to be most of the time, with stuff like this, John Cena, is trying to comfort her, and, gonna be, he's gonna figure this out, and Vince was a little involved in this, and when he's getting in his limo, and it seems like they're involving other people a little bit too, which makes it a little interesting. But I'm not totally sure if this is gonna work too well. As again, John Cena is still recovering with his arm. He's not gonna face anyone at Hell in a Cell, it appears. He could be involved in some way, like with this story. But I'm just not sure if this part's gonna work. This angle might just be a little way to fill time, but ultimately it just seems like something that might belong on whatever TV drama you wanna bring up. But we'll wait and see, give it a chance. It's as simple as that. We just have to wait and see. But I'm not expecting a lot of greatness out of this idea until I would assume perhaps maybe we'll get a little back on track before the year's over with maybe CM Punk and Cena going at it once more. It's as simple as that. I guess until it's going to depend when Cena's healthy again, perhaps how long this angle goes out and what goes down with it. We'll just have to wait and see. But what I'm most focused on, obviously, heading into Hell in a Cell, is Ryback against CM Punk. As I was saying earlier, this match, it seems like it has, not only is Ryback, the new big baby face that WWE's trying to push. It's his first big opportunity. But this match, what could happen with it? It seems like it makes the match bigger because it could really have a lot of impact on what happened, on how the landscape changes in the coming months and perhaps leading up to WrestleMania. Because, my thought is, are they really going to end Ryback's streak this soon? And are they really going to end CM Punk's title reign? I just don't. I don't totally think that they're going to do either quite yet. Unless they really want to build Ryback up, maybe they could have him win the championship from Cena or CM Punk. But again, The Rock is facing whoever's WWE champion at Royal Rumble, which is just a few months away now already. So, I'm interested. I'm interested in this match because, one way or the other, this could be huge. Or, also what they could do, they could have, some kind of draw. They had a draw, in the sense that Night of Champions. They could have some kind of no contest for the Hell in a Cell, because Hell in a Cell, there's no disqualifications. You pin or make your opponent tap out. But what I've been thinking is, what if this is where they try to get Brock Lesnar back and start planting some seeds for his involvement at WrestleMania for his next match, which many speculate will most likely be WrestleMania. The reason I say that, and there's been other people who've probably felt along the same lines, but let's not forget, there has to be some kind of reason that Paul Heyman paired up with CM Punk after Lesnar, quit again. It's interesting, to say the least. you know, Brock Lesnar, you had to think they're going to have some kind of, you know, kind of stable here. And I think, you know, what they, you know, there's this fear going on, I think, with Paul Heyman, and, you know, CM Punk, you know, Paul Heyman, you see it all the time, where Paul Heyman is trying to look out for CM Punk, you know, he warns CM Punk and tries to, you know, stop him at times from doing certain things, from, you know, beating this guy so-and-so up, or, you know, so, you know, there's this feeling that, you know, Paul Heyman gives Lesnar a call and, you know, says, you know, if we need you, you know, helps, you know, rough Ryback up or something in the match, which, you know, could certainly happen. Let's say Ryback is controlling the match pretty well, and then Lesnar interferes or something, you know. Paul Heyman, like, calls out the cavalry, you know, calls for Brock Lesnar to, you know, jump over the barricade or something, and mess Ryback up a little bit. And then maybe that evens the score in the match. And then, you know, and then maybe something happens where both guys just get, you know, become, you know, just like knocked out, and they just rule the match a no contest. I mean, we've seen things like this before happen, and I think it would be a good, you know, a cliffhanger ending, you know, and it wouldn't be like the whole Cena, and it'd be different. It's a Hell in a Cell. I mean, these guys can brutalize each other, and there's something, you know, there's things that they could do where both guys just, you know, something could happen where they just both get destroyed, and they just call it, you know, it could be one of those, you know, unofficial endings, which we've seen before. So, you know, I'm eager to see this match simply because it seems like there's different routes that they could go, and you wonder if they're really going to end Ryback's streak, if they're really going to end CM Punk's title reign, or if this guy is going to interfere and screw this guy up, or whatever. There's different directions here, and it makes it very interesting, to say the least. And again, you know, Ryback, this is Ryback's big chance here. I'm hoping, you know, gotta hope he does well here. That him and CM Punk can have a good match. It's good that it's in a cell. It gives, you know, Ryback more options to dish out pain. I think it's crucial for him in this match to have, you know, a couple big spots, you know, or at least one big spot where, you know, everyone's jaw drops in the crowd. You know, everyone wants to cheer for him now, and put the Goldberg chants. You know, if there's whoever's out there still chanting Goldberg, you know, and really get behind this guy. You know, maybe not. You know, if it just like spears him through the cell wall, or if he just, you know, does something huge a couple times in the match, things that we haven't seen him do before, that would really help Ryback. And even if he doesn't walk away with the championship, which most likely he won't, still, if he does these big things in the match, that's, you know, the fans are going to, you know, applaud him for it. You know, they're gonna say, "Oh my God," or, you know, whatever. They're gonna chant, you know, "Feed me more," even louder. They're gonna be more into the match with, you know, a big spot or two, you know, from Ryback. So that's something WWE has to do here, and have Ryback do. And again, hopefully Ryback's, you know, years in development, you know, developmental program and everything, hopefully they pay off, and hopefully he, you know, puts some doubters, you know, in their place here, and wrestles a decent match. You know, I saw Ryback and CM Punk have a lumberjack match at the house show I went at this past Saturday, and it was, you know, it was what it was. It was a house show lumberjack match where everyone just started beating each other up eventually, which, you know, ended in disqualification against CM Punk. So it you know, it was one of those things you knew it was going to come. You knew something, you know, it was going to end in a way like that. Most certainly it did. CM Punk, you know, Ryback, and, you know, his streak's not going to end on a house show for sure. But, you know, I think Ryback can do a good job from what I saw. And again, I mean, you're at a house show. You know, there's no commentary to carry things along. There's no, you know, oh, this is a high stakes match, because you know what's going to happen pretty much. You know it's not on TV, so that, to me, that tends to really, you know, it's just a plain house show, or it doesn't really matter. You know, it's, you know, you're not going to be as into it. You know, you're kind of just there to see them do their stuff. It's as simple as that. So, you know, but Hell in a Cell, I'm going to be into this match because it seems like there's a lot of implications that, you know, come out of this. So, I mean, it's as simple as that. And I'm interested in seeing what direction WWE goes, what they do. And I'm hoping that it's sort of, you know, a win-win situation, or hopefully at least not a lose-lose situation. As many perceive, you know, this could be, you know, a lose-lose situation out of the match. I don't totally know if it will be. It just depends how WWE pursues this, and they probably already have their ideas in mind, but, you know, or what their idea, their singular idea in mind that they're going to pursue. And we just have to watch and see what happens in that match, and of course in the rest of the pay-per-view. Alright, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of TWWT Wrestling Talk. Given that Hell in a Cell is this Sunday, I'll take a look at the match card in the coming days and hopefully get up a predictions video Saturday this week, or at least at the very latest before the pay-per-view kicks off. So you can look for that, and you'll see my predictions for, you know, who's going to win, who's going to lose, or if this match is going to end in a way where the champion still holds his belt after the pay-per-views, stuff like that. So stay tuned for that, as that will be the next thing on my list for TWWT Wrestling Talk. Alright, thanks for watching again, and stay tuned as always.